Good morning, everybody. It's a few days later and I've had a delivery. Now I'll tell you about this. Get on with it. Oh, yeah, break it. Go on. Right. Kawasaki genuine parts. So that broken flange, I always like the word flange. It's a rude word without being a rude word, isn't it? Flange. Anyway, I digress. Genuine Kawasaki part. Now, I went looking for a second-hand one of these, and I found one. Now, have a look at that part number. 18069-1014. That's the part number of this. Now, if you go search on eBay, you will find one of these for sale, a second-hand one. And the guy is asking 30 quid. Bear in mind it's second-hand and it's oxidised and it's not nice and shiny like this. He wants 30 quid for it. Go have a look yourself, because I'm sure it's still there, because there's no way he's going to sell it. The cheeky bastard also wants £6 delivery. 6 quid to post that for you. So £36 in total. You know, I bang on about greedy bastard bike breakers on eBay. I think they're the scum of the earth. I really do. So he wants £36. So I went and bought the genuine Kawasaki item from Kawasaki. I also got, while I was there, these little collets that go between. I thought I'd have a couple of new of them because they weren't that expensive. So £36 for a second-hand one of them. How much for both of those parts delivered to my door? 24 quid. 24 quid for the genuine Kawasaki item, and that dopey prick wants £36 for one of them. You know, I think I really hold them in the lowest of contempt, because, you know, there's young guys out there with bikes trying to keep them on the road, and there's scumbags out there trying to rip people off for spurious parts. Anyway, I bang on, I digress. What do I want to do? I want to get that on, obviously. I also want to do the studs properly. If I know what I've done with them, the bolts on the studs are seized on. Here we go, is that on? So what I was doing last time is just trying to screw that thread and use it like a bolt instead of a stud. I am going to try and get those nuts off with a bit of heat, so we can insert the threads properly how they're supposed to be. Fuck, I keep dropping things. My granddaughter had a lurgy last week and she's got over it. But being the kind, sharing sort of granddaughter she is, she thought I might quite like it, so she passed it on to me. So feeling like shit at the minute, but we'll brave through, as they say. Anyway, I am going to, what I need to do, I need to get a couple of nuts on that end and lock them together, put that in the vise, get some heat on that, because I've tried just turning them off, they won't budge. So we'll get some heat on that. It's going to destroy the chrome. I think I've got some new ones of these somewhere anyway. And we'll try and get those back to studs and cleaned up and inserted properly. That's going to be my next job. Right, I don't think the light's great in here for filming, but we'll muddle on through. So if we screw a couple of bolts onto there, nuts rather, not bolts, get it right, and then we'll clamp that in the vise. I need a decent vise, this one's shit. Tighten that up. Okay. Fucking thing's lopsided. Right. Then clamp that in the vise again. That is lopsided. What the fucking hell's wrong with that? Why is that lopsided? Oh well. If any vice manufacturers want to sponsor me and buy me a shiny new vice, apply here. Right. Actually, I think that's 12mm, not 13. Let's grab a 12. Oh, it moved a little bit. Let's give it a bit more. Isn't heat wonderful? Lovely sound. And that one's off. Right, I'll do the other one and then we'll see about getting these studs installed in the head. Right then, I've cleaned them studs up on the wire wheel. There they are. I've locked on two 13mm bolts to give me something to get hold of to twist them into the head. And whether it will do any good or not, I don't know, but I've put copper grease on the end that goes into the head. Maybe that's a waste of time, maybe the heat of the head will just burn that off, but I figured it wouldn't do any harm to give it a go. Now, I don't think the camera actually is low enough to get you in there does it? Oh, I don't know. So we'll pop one in and then I'll turn the camera off, get the other one in as well. Something like that. It's going in nice and easy because I did clean them up. So we'll just nip that up. Don't need to be mega tight. Yeah, just nipped up. Let me just get me pliers. So we'll just get hold of that one. Loosen that off. And there we go. That's one stud inserted. Right, let me do the other one. Right then, that's on, but there's a but, there's always a but. It's all secured up there, no problem. I've got to finish that wrap off, I shall do that in a second. The problem is the back. Now I've not tightened it up yet, but look at that. It's too far back. I mean, I can get it. I mean, I'll put a big old washer on there and it'll clamp it and it'll be absolutely fine. It won't go anywhere. But why is that like that? Is the exhaust bent? I just don't know. And I don't recall if it was like that when I took it off. I'll have to look back at the video, I suppose. But, yeah, any ideas why that's gone like that? Yeah, anyway. I'm going to, I've got a big old acorn that I can put on the back of there with a nice big old washer so it won't go anywhere. But curious as to why. It's miles out, isn't it? Weird. I mean, that can't bend that way. The only thing that can... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not been off there. I don't even think it comes off there. I think it's one piece. Who knows? Anyway. Oh shit, nearly went arse of a shit. I'm going to finish that wrap off there, do that back up. I'm not going to film it. We'll tighten that back end up. We've also got to put some oil in it, but some clown who painted this engine is painted over the top of the little thing there where you see how much oil's in it. What fucking idiot would do that, eh? Gotta go. Right, exhaust fully bolted on, wrapped. Not my best work, I have to confess. but nonetheless wrapped. I've got 3 round the top there because it was looking a little bit scruffy. There's a little hairy bit there. I shall have to get that trimmed off. But it's on. Not happy about the way that sits at the back, but not entirely sure what I can do about it. Okay, onwards and upwards. Right, for my next trick, as they say in the trade, it's a new speedo cable. Now, let's have a look. Should we do this end first? If you remember, I changed the speedo because it was a KMH one because this is an imported bike, obviously. Not obviously, but it is, because I'm telling you it is. Well, what's the best way to route this? Would that something like that maybe? Who knows? Who can tell? Oh, let's get this end in first anyway. Yeah, I had an adapter on that, come on, play the game. Yeah, I had an adapter that sort of converted the MPH speedo to a mile-an-hour speedo, which I didn't like, so I've changed the speedo, and the old cable was broke as well. Oh yeah, they meant to screw that in, that just disappears in there. So some long nose pliers on that. Yeah, the other thing as well that's missing from this bike, hang on, let me just tighten this up and I'll tell you. Right, that's tight I think. Right, is that the correct routing? I don't know. What do we do? Go through there, down there, round the corner, left at the lights. That's not engaged, shall we say. Anyway, I'm going to put the fucking speedo cable on. What I was going to say is that this bike should have, keep still, it should have a bracket down mounted on the fork leg, just here somewhere, and it's like a coat hanger thing, and it's chrome, and it sort of comes out there, round there, and then back in on itself, and then it sort of folds around as well. It's quite a complicated little bracket. Anyway, it's missing. Can't find one. It's been online, so I'm going to connect that cable up, and then I'm going to find some way of securing that to the mudguard so that it's not flapping about all over the place. But anyway, let me get that cable routed. Same thing on the other side as well with the brake cable. It's probably not going to go anywhere, but you know, I might put some extra security on there just to hold it. Right, let's get that on. Right, that speedo cable is on and working. And if you sound out of breath, it's just because I've just been pushing the bloody bike up and down, running down the path with it, just to make sure the speedo is working, and it is working. It's all sorted. With regards to this bracket I was talking about that's missing, I've just gone through my stash and I've got these things here. Now, if I carefully drill a hole in there, then that'll hold it. The only trouble is, because these are solid, means I've got to disconnect the speedo cable again to get it on. Not a biggie for the speedo cable. However, look down the other side here, if I want to do the same thing for the brake cable, it does mean disconnecting it, and it don't fit right, it don't quite sit right anyway. So for the brake cable, I'm probably going to just find a way of securing it to the fork leg, or probably just leaving it as it is in actual fact, because it's not terrible. It sits there quite nicely. I think I'll leave the brake line. That'll be fine. But we will drill a hole in the mudguard and fit one of these bad boys. I've got a packet of them. I don't know where I got them from. Bought them for some project or other. So that's what we'll do. I've obviously got to make sure I drill the right size hole, else we'll be in a world of shit. But let me get that done. Take the lens cover off, you div. Right, I'll put that on. Quite pleased with that. That's come out quite well. Nice and firm on there. Holds that cable nicely. Also put the gear change back on, as you can see. I'm a little bit of play in that, but I don't think it's outrageous. I could put a washer in that, I suppose, to try and tighten it up. I might do that later. I've got to take it apart again at some point, I think, because when I get the foot plates on, I'm going to need to get that at the right height. But yeah, do you know what? I am going to try and put a washer on that. Just see if I can. It's worn. I mean, to be honest with you, it was replace it, but I'm not going to replace it because it's on me. But I think a washer will take a lot of that out, which I shall try and do that in a minute. What I also want to do is clean these shocks up a bit. I'm going to take them off one at a time. Take one off, clean it. I'm not going to take them apart, and then we'll put one back on so it supports the back of the bike, and yeah, then do the other one. You can take them apart. I've taken them apart many times. I've filmed how to take them apart. It's not that difficult. It's just that I can't be bothered with this bike because it is what it is. It is never going to be a pretty bike. It's going to be a well sorted but well used bike. That's all it's ever going to be. Well, certainly under my ownership anyway. So these are dead easy. 2 bolts. Actually, I must get out of the habit of saying things are dead easy, because I just set myself up for failure. Out you come. That's a nice clean shiny bolt. That's never been out before. Yeah, look at that. Very nice. Right, you, off with you. And one of these will, I'm sure, support the bike without me having to fuck ass about. There we go. Off you come. There you come. So yeah, just a good old clean up. It's never going to be pretty. It's well corroded, but we can make it look better than it is. Right, carry on. Right, I said I weren't going to strip these shocks, but I am. I can do a much better clean up if I strip them, to be honest with you. So I will show you how I've done it. I've shown you this before, how I'll strip them. If you're bored and you don't want to see it, obviously whiz forward. Although I'm sure you will anyway. You don't need me to tell you to whiz forward if you're not interested. Who am I to tell you that? So anyway, these are my little Sealy spring compressors for motorcycles. I do think they're quite dangerous. I think that these could flick off and take your face off. They're really not that great. I don't rate them, wouldn't recommend them. Get them at your own risk and all that bollocks. But yeah, we will attach one to each side, like so. And then I normally wind them in with a ratchet or a spanner, but I'm feeling lazy. I'm going to see if my little powered ratchet will do it. So, like that, and we'll squash them up, a bit each side. And we'll look, see how that's becoming loose. So what we're looking to do is expose the nut that's in there. There's a locking nut in there, and you have to compress them quite a bit to get at it. And these things do start to twist, which is why I don't think they're very good. But I have done this several times, and so far I've not managed to decapitate myself or remove a testicle. But first time for everything. It'd make great content, wouldn't it, if I removed a testicle. Right, where's that nut? Can't quite see it yet. I'm hoping there's one in there, because I've just told you there is. Making myself to be the big expert on stripping shocks, and then there'll be no fucking nut in there. So right, let's have a look. Is it under that rubber doobry? There it is. There it is. So don't know if you can see that, but we've there is a nut under there, which hopefully we can now. I think it's 13 mil. 14, 15, 13. The other downside to these spring compressors is that if you are going to paint your shocks, no, it ain't that, must be a 14. Yeah, 14. Yeah, if you are going to paint your shocks, when you come to put them back together, these tend to gall up your nice fresh paintwork as well. So, you know, they are what they are. Come on. I'm trying to do this in a way I can do it and keep you in shot as well. So, probably this screwdriver's not really man enough, but oh, fucking hell, that's tight. But I'll tell you what, we are going to have to put them in the vise. Hang on, let me set it up in the vise. Okay, now, so we've got that bottom bit clamped in the vise. Get on that nut. There you go. Comes off a fucking sight easier in the vise. Once that's loosened, it's only a lock nut, so you only have to loosen it. And then you can simply unscrew that. Come over here, I need you. So we unscrew that. Come on. Is the whole thing turning? Yeah, the whole bar's turning. Where's me Nipex? Just need to get in there and hold that still. There we go. Then we can twist that off. That's better. A lot of people just throw shocks away and buy new ones, but you can indeed take them apart. So off with that cap there. Off with the spring. And there you go, we can now clean that up to a much better standard. There you go, showed you again. So we are done. That one's cleaned up best I can. Let's get it out into the light, you can have a look. It was never ever going to come up spotless, never. But it's come up a damn sight better than it was. And then if we compare that to the old, or the other one, hopefully you can see an improvement. It's not a massive improvement, but they're cleaner than they were. Right, I'm going to get this back onto that side, pop the other one off, do the same thing. Right, them shocks are back on, looking much better than they did. I have to be honest, I didn't strip this one, I couldn't be bothered, but I've cleaned it all up and they're looking much better. Also incidentally, I did put a washer on that gear change, and that's really good now. There is no play in that whatsoever. That's been sorted right out. Now, A job I've been putting off for some reason, but I've got to get on with it. I think it's going to rain. Should be a bummer. Yeah, this back end, I'm just putting my legs down on my tripod, give us a sec. Yeah, this back end, I'll sort of start putting it back together. So, I suppose the biggest problem is remembering how it come apart. You know, I've painted this in my lovely NATO green, as we all know, and this is the subframe underneath, which was very, very rusty, but we've sorted that out, hopefully. And then that, I believe, just snaps in like so. I've got all the bolts that I took out in a little bag here. Where do they all go? Who can tell? Where the fuck did that go? What the fucking hell was that for? I'll tell you what would be the sensible thing to do, and that's probably sensible things and me don't often go well together, but I think it would make perfect sense if I was to pop indoors and have a look at the video of me taking it apart. What do you think? Yeah. So I'm just trying to sort the grommets out. How many of them we got? We've got 4 of them, 1 of them. Got an odd grommet there. These bolts presumably are the ones that go in the side. Yeah. Okay. Right. I think that's what I'm going to do. Back soon. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to complete this, unfortunately. And I shall tell you why, when that was a bit done. Here it is. Now, I'm going to make a start on putting it back together, but this rear light goes in here, like so, and no, there's some grommets for there, which I've got, that's not a problem. But there are some spacers. Hang on, I'll show you, because I've got one. Well, I had one, but maybe I lost the only one I got. Oh, here it is. So yeah, I've got these spacers here. Now they go on there to stop that crushing. It goes just to sort of, so you know what the fuck I'm talking about, because I don't know what I'm talking about. But they go in the centre of these grommets, and then they just, you know, so you can only tighten it down so hard. Like I say, I got this one, there was 2 missing. I just had a look at the video. So I've got to make 2 of them, or acquire 2 of them. Now, yeah, that's not quite big enough. I've got some very thin, this is thin wall tube here. This is off one of my brewing kegs. So yeah, I've got to find something a bit thicker. Yeah, yes. Okay, what shall I do? What shall I do? Well, I mean, these grommets have got to go, they've got to go in there anyway. Should be 3 of them. I've not made a massive effort to clean this up. I've given it a bit of a scrub. Where's the other one? Is that it? Could be. Who knows? yeah, someone had just tightened up the bolts against the rubber, and yeah, it was just all not very nice. So that goes in there. Then the light goes in there thus, and then you tighten the 4 bolts on the back. But as you can see, you need the spacer in there to stop you crushing down on this rubber thing. In fact, you can see that one there is pushed in where someone did exactly that. They just tightened down on it hard without the little spacer in it, which goes in like thus. So I've got to find some of them spacers. Right, let me assess what the fuck I'm doing here. Still didn't find out what the fuck that was for. Anyone remember what that was for? Fucked if I can. I'm sure it'll all become apparent in the end. Right, let me show you my bodge up. I mean, my professional grade repair, of course. Right, where's my spacer? This is the one spacer that I do have. So what I've done is I've screwed 2 M6 nuts on, as you can see there, to the height of that spacer exactly. They're not screwed all the way down, so what I can now do is push them in and force them into those rubber holes, like so. Bear with me, this will work. So as you can see, they then protrude even up to the top level of that. The one spacer I have got we can use at the top, and then we can put a big flat washer, a nylock nut. No, I ain't got no nylock nuts. I've just been looking for nylock nuts actually, and I haven't got any, but I have got spring washers which will do the job. So there we go, and then we can tighten that back light in, and no one will ever know. Right, I'm going to proceed putting some of this back together. I'm not going to show you every single detail, but we'll probably dip in and out as we go. Right, one thing I will quickly show you. If you've been following this along, you will know that we had to employ the services of Gary the Grinder to remove the old indicators because they were so bad. To replace them, I have bought these. Now they're slightly smaller, but they're exactly the same design, and I don't think they will look too bad. So I'm showing you these now because I am about to fit them onto this, what do you call it, this back panel. So they actually fit through and they hold on this rear panel at the same time, I think. Is that all that holds it on? Is it? I don't know. So yeah, they go through there. Bolt, come on, play the game. Bolt through, and then no one will ever know. Right, well I've just cracked on and got that all put together, and quite pleased with it. I've wired it all up. I've had to extend these wires that come with the indicators. They were very short, so all I've done is attach the old wires from the old indicators to the end of these, so that when it meets the wiring loom in the bike, they'll actually be at that point the right colour. And then they come through there. They've got to be attached along there with some little clips, which I shall do in a minute. That's the indicator. No, that's the rear light. That's the indicator. So we are almost ready to start putting this on the bike. It's going rather well, I think. It wouldn't go well if I managed to drop that though. Get back up here, you bastard. So, yeah. one step closer to this bad boy being on the road. Right, let's offer this back mudguard up, see how she looks. As you can see, I've clipped that cable neatly along the top there. That's how it was done factory. This is where it starts to look like a bike again. This is where I scratched the fuck out of this. Get a couple of bolts started. I think I might have that rubber thing on wrong at the front there. So, I mean, it looks the dog's doodads, I've got to be honest. But, yeah, I think this rubber thing here, I must have that on arse about face. Hang on, can I just flip it over? Is it that easy? Hang on, let me put you down. I think it might be. Oh, come on, you bastard. Yeah. So, that's that rubber thing there. I've just got to hook it over that tab there. Right, I'm going to get this tightened up. It's coming together, guys. I'm getting really pleased with this now. Can't wait to get this on the road now. Excellent progress made today. And it's about time. I know I'm not uploaded a bloody video for ages. At the time, probably 3-4 weeks, but I've got shitloads of footage to upload. Just editing. Just don't like editing. But anyway, this old dog's coming together quite nicely. But that'll do me for today. We'll catch you on the next one.